Namaskar student, welcome back to another lecture in this series of lectures on the electrodynamics topic. So in my previous lecture we have learned the electromotive forces, then electromotive forces, that is motional electromotive forces I have explained and developed some formalism, and then we have learned that if there is a relative motion between an electrical circuit or a magnetic field, so there is a induced EMF in the circuit, and this EMF we have seen that is basically due to the change in the flux in a closed loop. So that is negative rate of change of flux with respect to time. So that is basically EMF. So we have learned that if there is a change in flux, so there will be an induced EMF in the circuit, and this induced EMF may be because as I discussed, I focus and this very means so that what is that if there is a relative motion, remember that relative motion between magnetic field on an electronic circuit, okay, then there will be an induced EMF. So then after that we have solved a few problems based on the motional EMF and electromagnetic forces. Then in previous lecture I have given a problem that is on alternating current or voltage generator, and that there basically in presence of magnetic field the square loop was rotating in presence of uniform magnetic field, and then we have seen that one can generate a sinusoidal wave voltage potential because of the motional EMF. So after that now we are ready to learn another law of your syllabus, that is known as the Faraday's law. So as we have I have discussed that because of the motional EMF, because of motion of the circuit or magnetic field, you can generate an EMF. So Faraday did lot of experiments, means several experiments, and on the basis of those experiments he given a law, and that is the universal law, that is known as the flux law. We have discussed also there. So that here he will prove that this flux law is universal flux law. So what he did in his experiment, so I am explaining only 3 set of experiment what he did, but he has did lot of experiment. There is a big story how he's developed this law. So let us say we have a magnetic field, uniform magnetic field, and we have a circuit, okay, and this circuit we have a closed circuit, and in this circuit there is a resistance is connected. So as we have learned earlier that if this circuit is moving with velocity v, okay, so if circuit is moving, so how much current is flowing, or one can calculate the EMF. So Faraday observed that there is a induced EMF developed in the circuit, and because of the induced EMF a current is flowing across the resistor. So this he did this first experiment. So what he did here the magnetic field was fixed, but the circuit was moving with respect to the magnetic field. So obviously if circuit is moving, so net flux within this closed loop that will be changing because of the change in the flux, obviously an EMF will change. So what he observed, this EMF can be written as that is minus d phi upon dt, and this EMF was because of the relative motion of the magnetic field in the closed circuit. Similarly he did another experiment, okay. So one can conclude here that in experiment 1 he observed EMF because of the relative motion of the circuit and the magnetic field. In second experiment what he did, rather than moving this circuit, he started the motion of magnetic field, means he pulled the magnetic field away from the circuit and let the circuit is stationary, okay, let the circuit is stationary, and he changed the position of magnetic field. He started the change position of magnetic field. Obviously in this case also he observed that there is a current is flowing in the resistance, and this current in the resistance flowing, that is again because of the induced EMF, because of the relative motion of the magnetic field in the circuit, closed circuit. Here circuit was moving, but here the magnetic field is moving, okay. So what he observed, that he concluded that in this experiment Here the EMF was basically because of the motion of the relative motion of the circuit with respect to magnetic field. But here the circuit is stationary and magnetic field is moving. It means the magnetic field is changing with respect to circuit now. So he concluded that a changing magnetic field induces an electric field, and because of this induced electric field, an EMF developed across the resistance, across the circuit, and because of that induced EMF, a current used to flow in the resistance. Okay, again one can define this induced EMF. So this is what he called induced EMF. So this induced EMF is because of the again rate of change of flux, negative rate of change of flux with respect to time. So this is the Faraday's second experiment. So in both experiment 1 and experiment 2, if we look closely, we can say that whether your magnetic field is moving or your circuit is moving, any out of these two, any one is moving, so an EMF can be generated. Okay, if EMF is generated, then because of if circuit is moving, so that is giving the motional EMF. If the magnetic field is moving with respect to circuit, so that is giving the induced, it is generating the induced electric field in the circuit, and because of that EMF is generated and current is flowing in the circuit. So Faraday did another experiment. Rather than this moving the circuit or moving the magnetic field, what he did, he kept both stationary. He kept the circuit is stationary and the magnetic field is stationary. Okay, but what new he did, and he think that if we can change here, because previously he learned that if we change the magnetic field, this changing magnetic field induces an EMF. Okay, so he changed the magnetic field because of simply different region. Okay, so he just fixed the magnetic field region and he fixed the circuit, means both are not moving, both are stationary, but whatever the applied magnetic field is there, that magnetic field he changes by simply entirely different region. Okay, then as previously we have learned that changing magnetic field induces an electric field, so he also find in this case also that a current is flowing in the resistance. Okay, so it means then he concluded that an electric, from this experiment 2 and experiment 3, he concluded that an electric field will induced, an electric field will be induced, okay, by changing the magnetic field in the circuit, okay, in a closed loop, and it is giving rise a EMF in the circuit, and this EMF will be always equal to, that is minus rate of change of flux with respect to time. So from this 3 set of experiment, what Faraday did, what Faraday proposed, we learned whether there is a relative motion of the circuit and the magnetic field, there will be EMF. If circuit is moving, that is EMF is generated because of the motional EMF. If magnetic field is moving, so changing because magnetic field is changing, the magnetic field changing induces an electric field in the circuit, and that generated an EMF in the circuit. And in third experiment, both kept stationary, but the applied magnetic field changes by entirely different region, and then he observed that EMF is generated in the circuit, and then he concluded that changing magnetic field induces an EMF in the circuit. Means changing magnetic field induces an electric field, and that electric field induces and give rise to an EMF in the circuit. So this is 3 set of experiment what Faraday did. So now let us try to build up some mathematical formulation of the Faraday experiments. So we know we can define the Faraday. Before Faraday, several scientists and researchers have worked, and they have defined this EMF in the circuit, and the EMF of the circuit is equal to, that is line integral of closed path, okay, Fs dot dl, where Fs is the source force per unit charges, means the force which is acting on the charges on the circuit, okay, and that force what we have called here source force, and this source force may be different. This source may be, as we have learned, there may be chemical energy, maybe mechanical energy, maybe electromagnetic energy, maybe gravitational energy. The source force may be anything. Okay. So, and then we have already derived that this source force of the, let us, because of the battery, or we have electromagnetic force, or maybe we have mechanical force. So this source force will be exactly equal to the electric field, that is electrostatic field in the circuit. But remember, this electrostatic force, this electrostatic field which is generated, this is a non-conservative electric field, because this electrostatic field is generated because of the conversion of chemical energy into electrical energy, or mechanical energy into electrical energy, or electromagnetic energy into electrical energy. Okay, so that is why this is a non-conservative electric field. And because of this non-conservative electric field, we know that del cross E will be not equal to 0. If this conservative electric field is there, this will give this line integral of electric field, we know that it give rise to 0. But this is not giving rise to 0, and because of that, electric field and EMF is generated within the circuit, what Faraday has also observed by several experiments. When he make a relative motion of the magnetic field with respect to circuit, or he changes the magnetic field by keeping both magnetic field region and electric circuit both stationary, but he changes the magnetic field by differently in entirely different region, then he also observed the EMF in the circuit, or he take the motion of the circuit with respect to magnetic field, that motional EMF, that also he observed the EMF. So that means last two experiment of the Faraday suggests that if the electric field which is generating into the circuit, and that electric field generated into the circuit, that is because of the different region, okay, and that electrostatic field is non-conservative nature, and because of that, that is giving the electromotive forces into the circuit. Okay. So, and also he found that because that is a EMF of the circuit, that is obviously equal to the minus rate of change of flux. Okay, so we can write this EMF that will be equal to line integral of E dot dl is equal to minus d phi upon dt. Okay, if you do that, so we can write this line integral of E dot dl is equal to minus d upon dt. In as I have in my one previous lecture, I have introduced this is magnetic flux of B. Okay, so one can write line surface integral of B dot dA. So this is known as the Faraday law of induction. Okay, so it means that here if you see, or here if you see, this is phi B. So this rate of change of magnetic flux, the rate of change of magnetic flux B, that induces an electric field in the circuit, and this is the mathematical formulation of the Faraday law of induction. Okay, this means this changing flux induces an electric field in the circuit. Here also if you see, so here that is line integral E dot dl, that is equal to minus d upon dt, surface integral B dot dA. Here if you see, this d upon dt, that is B. Okay, that means magnetic field is changing with respect to time. If magnetic field is changing with respect to time, whether your magnetic region is stationary or your circuit is stationary, doesn't matter, this changing magnetic field will induce an electric field. Okay, because this induced electric field is because of the magnetic forces, because of the obviously this is entirely different region, so that is why this electric field is non-conservative in nature. So that is why this electric field is not equal to 0. So that what I have written. Okay, so if you simplify, so this is known as the integral form of Faraday law. If we simplify it, so we can write line integral E dot dl is equal to, that is surface integral. So here this minus d upon dt, surface integral B dot dA, and we okay, so here we know, so this is integral form, and this line integral can be converted into a surface integral by using the Stokes law. So we know that is surface line integral E dot dl is equal to, that can be converted into surface integral del cross E dot dA. Okay, remember this del cross E, what we have learned in electrostatic, that is equal to 0, but this is not equal to 0. I am focusing this point so many times because this is very important. Remember why it is important, because you have learned already that del cross E always become equal to 0. So that tells that electrostatic field is conservative in nature. But here this is not a real electric field. Remember, this electric field is basically induced by the changing magnetic field. Okay, so that is why, and this electric field can be induced by any other regions also, like in when I was explaining the EMF, electromotive forces, there when we have connected the circuit with the battery. So in case of battery, chemical energy converted into electrical energy, and that chemical energy basically build up electric field within the terminal of the battery. That what we have learned earlier. Okay, similarly, if you have mechanical energy, your mechanical energy will be converted into electrical energy, and that will give rise to electric field between the terminals. So that is why this electric field is a non-conservative in nature. That is why del cross is not equal to 0. Okay, I hope now you are getting my point, what I wanted to convey my message. Okay, so now we can write, so this equation, so that is surface integral del cross E dot dA is equal to minus d upon dt, again surface integral B dot dA. Okay, so if you see again, so if you simplify, so this del cross E dot dA, surface integral of del cross E dot dA can be written as, so minus phi, I have this surface integral I have taken outside, and this d by dt that I have taken inside, so this can be written as a d upon dt of vector B dot dA. Okay, so now both side surface integral is there, so one can remove the surface integral. So if you remove the surface integral, what we will get? So this will give del cross E is equal to, here minus should be there, so that is minus, so here that should be minus, so minus dB upon dt, because this minus sign is there. So this give rise, so that is del cross E is equal to minus dB vector upon dt, and that is again, this is known as the Faraday law of induction in differential form. So that was the Faraday law in integral form, and this is Faraday law in differential form. And let us try to check whether this formalism, this mathematical expression what we have derived for Faraday law, whether this is correct or not. So we know that there must be some relative motion between the magnetic field and the circuit. If there is a relative motion, then there will be change in flux, and then it will give rise to the EMF. Let us say if you have a static magnetic field. Static magnetic field means this magnetic field is constant, okay, with respect to time. If this magnetic field is constant with respect to time, so if you take the derivative of dB upon dt, so obviously this dB upon dt will be equal to 0. If this dB upon dt is equal to 0, then del cross E becomes equal to 0. If this del cross E becomes equal to 0, so this will give rise that this line integral of E dot dl, that will be equal to 0. That means, and if this is equal, line integral of E dot dl equal to 0, that means EMF will be equal to 0. So therefore, it means if there is no changing magnetic field, then there will be no EMF will be generated within the circuit. So in order to generate an EMF in the circuit, means your magnetic field, or there must be relative motion between the magnetic field and the circuit, or there may be flux in the closed circuit that must change with respect to time. So that what we can conclude. So now, after learning this Faraday law of induction, so we have got that formalism that del cross E is equal to minus del V upon del T. So now onwards, we will say that what we have learned earlier in electrostatic, del cross E is equal to 0 always. So that was telling the conservative nature of electric field. But now, after this Faraday, if there is changing magnetic field, or there is relative motion between the circuit and magnetic field, then this del cross E will be not equal to 0. Okay. Then this is called as a Faraday law. So we can make an universal rule that is known as the universal flux rule. So I have explained in my previous lecture that flux rule. So flux rule, what was it? It was, we have learned that changing flux will always induce an electric field. That is what we have learned from the Faraday law also. So we can say that whenever and for whatever region, okay, whenever and for whatever region the magnetic flux through a loop changes, an EMF will be appears in the loop. So this is called as a universal flux law. Whatever region, whenever there is change in the magnetic flux in a closed loop, that will always induce an electric field, and because of that an EMF will be generated in a given circuit or in a given loop. So this is called as a universal flux law, and this is also called as a Faraday law of induction. So let us try to learn one problem based on the Faraday law of induction. Okay, so here I have written a problem. So this is a problem of Griffith, I think. Yes. So a long solenoid of radius A is driven by an alternating current, so that the field inside is, that is Bt, that is magnetic field is function of time, that is B0 cos omega t z unit vector. That means magnetic field is along the z direction in the solenoid, and we know within the solenoid magnetic field is uniform. Okay, a circular loop of wire of radius A by 2 and resistance R is placed inside the solenoid, okay, and coaxial with it, coaxial with the solenoid. Find the magnetic field in the loop, find current in the loop as function of time. So if we try to draw the diagram of this problem, how one can draw? So we have a solenoid, here I have drawn. So we have a solenoid, okay. So this is solenoid of radius A, and in solenoid obviously there is a wire is wrapped on the solenoid, and the current is changing in the solenoid because of the current is, because of the flow of current, a uniform magnetic field produced within the solenoid, okay, inside the solenoid. Outside of solenoid we have learned there is no magnetic field. When if you go outside along the axis, this obviously magnetic field will be non-uniform, but within the solenoid magnetic field will be uniform, okay. And then it is asked that a circular loop is present at the center of the solenoid along the axis, okay, and the axis of the solenoid and ring, that is same, and this ring have a resistance R, and the radius of the ring is A by 2, that means diameter of the ring, that is A, okay. Then it is asked that find the current which is flowing across the resistance, okay. Why current will flow? Because if you see here, whatever this magnetic field is produced within the solenoid, that is uniform, we know, but if we change the current which is wrapped on the solenoid, on the cylindrical cylinder, if you change the current, the magnetic field will change. That is why here it is giving this magnetic field inside the solenoid, that is function of t, that is function of time, and that is B0 cos omega t. That means that is a cosine in nature. That applied signal, that is cosine in nature, that means magnetic field is a sinusoidal in nature, okay. If magnetic field is changing with respect to time, so that means flux will also change within the loop, closed loop. If flux will change, so we know this will induce an electric field, or that will induce an EMF within the circuit. If EMF will be induced, then obviously a current will flow across the resistance. So we can find out the how much current is flowing in the circuit. So that is very easy problem now. So in order to find out the current, we must have to find out first EMF. If EMF is find it out, we know that EMF is equal to the potential difference. Then if we divide this potential difference with resistance, so that will give the current in the circuit. So what we are given? We are given with the magnetic field, that is function of time, that is equal to B0 cos omega t z unit vector, and we know that area of the loop, okay, because this circular loop is also kept along the axis of the cylinder. That means area of the loop, if you find out, so that will also point along the z direction. So this dA vector, that is also can be written as a surface integral dA z unit vector. So if you find out the B dot dA or flux of B, that is magnetic flux of B. If you find out, that is surface integral B dot dA. If you take the dot product and integral, what will get? We get that is phi B is equal to surface integral B0 cos omega t dA z unit vector dot z unit vector. So this will give rise 1. So this will give rise surface integral of dA. So that will give rise to area of the circular ring, because other quantities are constant. So this phi B will be can be written as a pi r square. Here r is the radius of the ring is, that is a by 2. So that is a square by 4 B0 cos omega t. So this is the flux which is flowing, passing through the circular ring inside the solenoid when this magnetic field is changing. When this magnetic field is changing, because this depended upon the t. Okay. Now we know that induced EMF, that is equal to minus d phi upon dt. Okay. So if we differentiate with respect to time this expression, that will give the induced EMF. So if you differentiate, that is minus pi a square upon 4 B0 the d upon dt cos omega t. Okay. If you differentiate it, it will give pi a square upon 4 B0 cos B0 omega. So this cos omega t difference, that will give the minus sin omega t, and this omega t that will give. So this will give minus plus. That is why we have here that pi a square upon 4 B0 omega sin omega t. So this EMF is obviously equal to the potential difference in the circuit. So we can write current which is flowing across the resistor in the circular loop. So this will be equal to, obviously, IT is equal to pi a square upon pi a square omega upon 4r B0 sin omega t. Okay. So you see here, whatever current is generated, that is also a sinusoidal in nature. So if your magnetic field is changing with respect to time, to your current, induced current, which is flowing in the circular loop, that is also changing in nature. But here both are in opposite phase. Here if you see, magnetic field is function of cos omega t, and here this current is function of sin omega t. Okay. So both are in opposite phase. Thanking you very much for listening. If you have any doubt, any suggestion, any comment, please feel free to write on my YouTube channel. Thanking you very much.